Welcome everybody to the Broken Wing Racing League. This is the GT3 Sprint Championship, Season 17, Round 5 here at Daytona. A lot of fatigue after the 24 hours event at Daytona, but not so much fatigue as we still have a full roster for you. 57 drivers have decided to come out for this race, and with 8 minutes 37 seconds left in practice, we are going to be underway very shortly. Just a brief one for each class. The top three in the GT3 Pro class is Mark Foley in first, Peter Flanner in second, and Jacob Simmons in third, followed by Aiden Hertz in the Pro-Ams, leading over Braden Daniels in second and Chris Lambeth in third. In the AM class, you have Tyler Kern leading over Forrest Holland, who's in second, and Charlie Bass, who is in third, followed by the rookies. Travis Deegan is leading the rookies. Daniel McElvey is in second, and Connor Burns is in third. Followed by the team championships, we have Draft Punt Gold leading in first, Carrera Azteca is in second, Thunder Thighs is in third, Vols Hala in fourth, Bluth Racing in fifth, Draft Punk Silver in sixth, Valhalla in seven, Shake and Bake Racing in eight, Team Juice in nine, Valhalla D's Nuts in 10, Caffeine Global Motorsports in 11, Tachyon Simsport in 12, Valhalla Motorsports again in 13, E3 Motorsports in 14, Acer Race 15, Paxman in 16, Texas Motorsports in 17, and Vols Hala Black in 18. And there you have it. That is our top three plus the whole team's list. We usually have a more than 18's pretty natural. I'd say it's 15 to 20. A lot of people are in groups, different splits and whatnot. Gage Hines is leading overall right now with that 143.064. We got 143s out of 13 drivers. Richard Calais is the last of those drivers. I think he's a rookie. Chris Stewart is the first driver in the 144s in 14th. And then you got 144s all the way down to Andrew Frank, who is the last of the 144s. Then you have Forrest Holland in 37th position. And in the 145s, and 145s from 37 to 53. John Balone is the last of the 145s, and you have 146 of Daryl Carrington, and then 3 drivers in 146s, and that's it. Kyle Poffenberger hasn't set a time on the board. That's the only other driver that's out there. And yeah, that's it. Very competitive. I think the 144s are going to be our most competitive class. I mean, taking it from P14 all the way up to P36 is extremely tight. It's going to be a tight pack. That said, we are close to going underway. We have 5 minutes 22 seconds left in practice. And I think we got some new people as well. Connor Greer. I think he might be new. I had to re-add him, and he might have shown up to one race, but let me take a look here at the rookies list. I think he's brand new. I mean, it shows that he had blue accents on, but I don't think those are for our league. Let me take a look again here. Get a camera on this guy. Yep, that's a different league's stuff. Oh well. Beyond Connor, Liam Leckie. I don't know if he's out. He's not. He's in the pits at the moment. Let's see. Kind of a throwback there because Marcelo Machado hasn't shown up for a couple races. He was here on round 2, but he's back for round 5. as it stands, take a look here so you can see. We have 10 pros, and they're all in the top 25, so there's the good news there. Braden Daniels leads the Pro-Ams in fifth. Aiden Gwertz separated a little bit. Travis Deegan and Connor Burns neck and neck, 9 and 10 in the overall. First and second in the rookies. And then as far as we go down further, we have 15 Pro-Ams that showed up. 12 AM class drivers, but then you have Scott Weber, Craig Reese, 30 and 31, separated by Pro-Am, and then Kyle Strauss in 33. And then more AM class drivers. And then you get more of the rookies. All the rookies are here towards the bottom. That's 19 rookies overall. Unfortunate there for Daryl Carrington. And joining me in the booth,
Hello.
hi, is Dylan Thomas. Not racing tonight, but going to join me in the booth. So everybody, a warm welcome.
Thank you for having me, Jason. It's glad to be on. How do I sound? Do I got enough volume?
Sound pretty clear.
It was a little quiet last time I joined you.
You sound pretty. Wait, let me do a little. Say something real quick.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Broken Wing Racing.
Yeah, it's perfect. You're popping way over the charts there. And yeah, I was just saying, there's 2 minutes 7 seconds left in practice. Everyone looks like they're goofing off there in the infield there, just before turn one. Actually, kind of into turn one.
Kind of the new tradition, you know. Pretty fun.
Flash people.
It's a fun little thing. Makes you think about where you're going to put your braking point. Do it before or after you just plow into somebody.
And the flashing is definitely going to be helpful when you're thinking about your breaking point, and then these guys are doing what they're doing. Moving one guy out of the way. I think that was, I'm not sure who bumped to, but it's still hitting. That's Austin McGill getting hit, but by who, I'm not sure.
Gotta love it. Beauty of league racing, Jason.
Yep, definitely a beauty. Scott Weber's off. Well, what I was saying earlier is that we have 13 drivers in the 143s. And then in P14, Chris Stewart, he leads the 144s all the way to P36. That's the last of the 144s. Then it goes 137 all the way to 53 for the 145s. And then the three other drivers are in the 146s. So pretty competitive class in the 144s.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, a lot of people have just finished up doing the 24 as of this morning or this afternoon. So a lot of these guys are very familiar with the track. However, will they be familiar with the car they're using tonight? As you know, this week and running in Broken Wing, we have a car log for the season. So some guys picked the Porsche early on, maybe knowing that it was going to be good for Daytona, maybe not. And I know from my experience just running it yesterday that it was more of a spec race than anything. And so a lot of the Porsches may have the advantage here, but everybody's going to have the advantage of being familiar with the track. So it'll be interesting to see what racecraft comes out of that. Familiarity with the track, being able to run it kind of at full bore instead of spreading it out over either a 2-hour double stint or a 24-hour total race.
Well said. I guess we'll see in 1 second. We're going to take a quick break for our sponsor. And we are back, and I'm not sure who to start with, but there's somebody out there that's well out in front. And it is John Javecki.
John Javecki running his going back to his home in the Corvette. He's very familiar with it. He loves the car. It'll be interesting to see folks like John run this car. Right now, it looks like the Porsche is the way to go here. But you know, we have several people that perform so well in a single car It'll be interesting to see how they overcome some of the advantages that Porsche might have. I know we have some guys that are running the Porsche this week, despite the penalty points that they're going to get. They may be shooting for a win just to be in that Porsche.
Hey, you never know. And Cat Stack, is that a #1 Tampa Bay Lightning fan in the booth? As well as thank you for the 18 months subscription streak.
That's awesome. Thank you, Trey. I know I went to a Dallas Stars game. We got beat by the Tampa Bay Lightning today, unfortunately.
Oof,
So we're on
unfortunate.
a little bit of skid there in hockey, but we'll get back. Got a talented team.
All right, we're gonna
But
go
we're
on
talking about
board.
racing.
Gonna go on board here with John Javecki, and yeah, just walk us through this, Dylan.
Yeah, turn one is it's such a fun turn. You come off that banking and you have to kind of go to the flat zone area and really trail off. Try to get rotation early so you can get on the throttle. Doesn't seem like a long straight. You want to lift here, really ease into this first horseshoe. Get that rotation and then hammer on that throttle. You're going to be full throttle all the way through here on warm tires. Coming up to the kink, you want to be able to keep it pinned down. Left tires on that curbing right there. Lift off that brake. Several lines you can take here. You can go at real in narrow. You can kind of carry it out right and late apex it. But you want to get a good run here. We're about to get back on the NASCAR track. Nice lift here. Downshift to second gear. You want to get good throttle onto here. The exit is important. Getting onto the oval here. And you're full throttle, running all the way down to the what will come up as the Le Mans chicane, which we will see looks a little different this year than before. No grass, some heavier curbs. You're going to lift here just after the two, hammer on those brakes, downshift slowly down to third, really carry it out, and hammer on the throttle through here, carry those curbs back on the NASCAR track, keep it pinned to that yellow line, full throttle, try to shorten the length of the track as much as you can, and you're going to fly towards that start-finish straight. Hope you got a good exit out of that bus stop, and we'll see what time John can do on his first lap. The second lap obviously is going to be quicker as the tires warm up, but he's pushing, trying to get them warmed up from 1:45.538. That's a pretty dang good time. Gage already with a 43.9 on cold tires. That is
impressive.
very impressive.
Nick Madsen is second. Braden Daniels holding that in third. And then Rodrigo Theory, Aiden Hertz. They're kind of stacking. The Pro-Ams are stacked in third and fourth now. Osmago in fifth, the pros. 6, 7, and 8 to the Pro-Ams with Chris Lambert. And it is, we're getting some good times in. Who's a driver that has not qualified just yet that might be extremely competitive here? Jacob Simmons has yet to qualify.
Again, we're early days, Jason, on the tire warm-up. A lot of these guys probably aren't going to be setting a competitive lap until about 3 or 4 laps in.
Yeah, that's true.
See those tires warm up, and we're probably going to see some times down on the 42s. You know, when we were running the 24, you know, 144s were great with the BOP. Obviously, with this league, we didn't apply the BOP because we have that car lock. So some of these cars are just going to be flying with full power on those engines. Nothing added on the weight. We're rocking and rolling, and we'll see what these guys can come up with.
Yeah, I mean, well said. We're not going to get the competitive times, but I still believe in the banker lap. I mean, you'll see some of these guys go 4 laps with no lap recorded, and then they'll get their flying one, and it puts them in the top 10, but you're like, oh, Aiden Hertz just had a little spill on the exit of the bus.
There you go. That's why you get a banker lap right there. This track is so easy to get a 1X, either just barely cutting over that bus stop curb, maybe going in a little bit wide into turn 1 where you're trying to open the corner, and there goes your whole qualifying lap when you've just got those tires warmed up. So you're 100% right. A banker lap is great to have, and then you get that one right there in the bank, and you can start pushing and pushing, and hopefully seeing where you can time up a draft with this open qualifying. That's right now, these early laps 1, 2, 3, and 4 in qualifying with the open qualifying situation that we have in the league. You're trying to find that perfect gap. You want to find somebody that's just quicker enough than you or about the same pace that you can follow through especially here at Daytona, because the draft here can be the difference of over half a second for a lap, easily.
And look at that. I mean, new livery for Austin McGill. I mean, he's in that purple and white. That's why I was like confused. I thought he was. I guess he was hating one of the Valhalla guys.
He might just be running his 24 hours of Daytona livery left over from the weekend. We had some great liveries over the weekend. Our friends over at Draft Punk Racing, it was me, Marshall, Elliot, and Rodrigo, and we ran the Broken Wing Endurance Team Black team, and we had a matching livery with our GTP team, which we happened to land in the same split out of about
awesome.
40 splits, which was great. So having a matching livery was awesome, and I'm sure we'll be throwing some of those up on the social media soon.
Hopefully. And looks like getting these guys almost going too wide. A force kind of backs off and lets Austin McGill by. This right now is just on who's going to crash. And it thinks Chris Lambeth is about to. Whoa, nope. That was the driver that was just exiting the pits. Oh, and someone chopped up
driver running through the grass there, just trying to get out of the way.
I think that was John Javecki. Jeff Koffold now in fourth. Just takes a 143.6. And Braden Daniels leading right now in the Pro-Ams and the overall. Peter Flanner in second. Chris Stewart in third. It's really interesting. It goes Pro-Am, Pro, Pro-Am, Pro, Pro-Am, Pro, Pro-Am, Pro, Pro, Rookie, Rookie, Pro-Am, Pro. That's quite the list from P1 to 14.
You can see a little bit of the gamesmanship there with Braden. He kind of wanted to stay in Peter's draft, and I think Peter was able to kind of play the patient game and say, hey man, you got a good lap there. I'm going to get to your draft when we start getting these tires warmed up. So that's a great time by Braden, and he has been getting better and better every week. I believe Braden runs at the Pro-Am, and I've been trying to keep up with him. Normally I run in that category, and he is wicked fast.
Yeah, he's second in the Pro-Ams right now in the overall. Aiden Hertz is actually leading. We're down in sixth, though. Not bad. You got about a 300-point differential, I'd say. 320. It's not too bad. You got 2103. He's got Braden has 2380 in the first net half. So,
you know, it's made it very competitive around the league. That there was a shuffle of how the points were adjusted and awarded. And this season is the first season since we've had the 3 different categories of Pro, Pro-Am, and Am, as well as a heavier influence of points based on overall position finish. So you're seeing a lot more racing regardless of what category somebody's in, because overall finish matters so much more even within the categories. And I think it's a great improvement to the league. It's a great improvement to the racing. You're not necessarily looking at the color of the different accent on the back of the wing. You're just trying to race somebody and finish as far up as you can and see where that lands you in your category. So I think it's been a great addition.
Absolutely.
Makes it very competitive, and you're always in it from the beginning of the season to the end.
Will say, just briefly pulling this on the scoreboard or onto the stream, look how competitive it is. You got gold, purple, all up in the mix. You have some red, and it's just all up into P25. Marshall Scari in the pros. Mark Foley, P24. Like, that's how crazy it is. And then 26, that's when the AM class starts. And the AMs are kind of split from 26 onward down to 52. But then you got your rookies, 31, 36, 40, 41, 42. Like, it's a good mix of these drivers right now in every spot. I mean, not this often you see this level of usually I would see a lot of gold, then some purple. I mean, you're a couple of those rookies that do make it into the top 15. They are quick, but This is a little different. What I'm seeing with the colors right now.
Oh boy.
It's
Got
unfortunate for
Christopher
Chris.
Daniel kind of losing it coming out of the turn one. Maybe caught a little bit of the grass there. That's going to be rough for his qualifying hopes. It's going to take a while for him to warm up those tires. He might try to get something set. But yeah, I mean, I got to say, Jason, the level of competitiveness that has come to this league with either new influences or the abilities of people to improve across classes has been incredible. And one of my favorite parts of racing with Broken Wing is that we are solely focused on being developmental, helping each other out. And it doesn't really matter if you're a pro-am, or if you come in as a 5K I rating or a 1.2 or 800 I rating. You know, we as drivers, we talk amongst the Discord. We're always welcome to give advice. Even after races, we all kind of get together and debrief. The goal is to get everybody as fast as possible so the racing is as good as it can be. And you're seeing that with the current standings. Mix of pro-am up at the front, and then the AMs. Talk about a competitive class. These guys are learning, they're getting better, and it can be different one week to the next. You know, one guy might just figure out that track as an AM level, and they may be wicked fast and running top 10s sometimes, we see from the AMs.
Top 5
It's
too.
super fun.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Austin McGill into third. He's actually a champion too. Last season champion in the GT3 Sprint Championship.
I gotta say too,
yeah.
I think that some of the mix that we're gonna have in these classes and the competitiveness we're gonna see at the front of the field, a lot of these guys have been practicing this track all week long, hours and hours and hours, dozens, if not higher hours of practice and racing experience at this track. They're gonna know this one with their eyes closed. I gotta tell you, we ran our Daytona 24 race, and after my third double stint, you know, my arms were so stiff, I thought rigor mortis was setting in. I didn't know if I was going to be able to recover from it, but it was so much fun. It's a good track, but man, when you have these guys putting in this much practice on a single track, in a team effort situation, and knowing they have to perform, we're going to see some really good performances today. Some great racing, some tough racing, because they only got to do it for 45 minutes.
Yeah, and with that, there's only still 14 instead of 13 drivers in the 143s. And then in P15, Travis Deegan leads the 144s onward to P30, 36, which is about roughly where we were at last time. And then the 145s, people from practice to qualifying, not much has changed in terms of their pace. They're about as equal it is in practice. I'm just going to make a quick note. We only have 2 of 3 champions that are on the grid right now. Peter Flanders is in the pits. He has won 3 championships in the GT3 Sprint Championship. Nick Mazza, who's also in the pits at the moment. You can't get a good look at these guys, but he's also won a championship. Out of those, that's it. Oh, Jacob Simmons was the other one. Wait, and Jacob Simmons is actually, we have 4 drivers that have championships. Jacob Simmons has won 2, which is cool. Ooh,
Oh.
dang. Well, maybe I talked about him too much right there. That's unfortunate.
That's a classic Jason move right there. Let's zoom in on this guy.
And then watch them implode a little bit. Unfortunate. But practice has ended, or qualifying has ended, so we're about to see what remains here. Some guys are still out there. Braden Daniels is about to cross the line shortly. Let's take a look at someone who's already there. That'll be Steve McAllister.
Stick with Braden here. He's already running top 6. If he's still pushing, he might have a chance to push it even higher. That's a great spot for Braden. I think he would be the top pro-am.
Steve improves to 51. Braden Daniels in 6. Is this an improved lap? I don't know. I think he's going in.
He's pulling it into the pits. Even still, 6th place for a pro-am. That's a great starting point.
John Javecki
right
also
behind Peter Flaner. He does cut it down about 7/10. See how that helps him out.
not as improved his time, but not his position.
Wow.
And Mark Sherman across the line, improved his time, not his position there.
What is Daniel Haynes running? Is he running in a Porsche today?
Elliot Burton, I'm not sure, but Charles Whedon just improved to 29th. I'll take a look in a second. And then a couple other drivers. Brandon Burns improved into 19th. No other driver improved. He said, who? Uh,
Daniel Haynes in P2. I know Gage switched to the Porsche this week.
Lamborghini for Daniel Haynes.
Wow, that's really impressive. I know Jeff had switched to the Porsche this week. Austin McGill, what was he running? I think he switched to the Porsche as well, or has he been
He's in
running it this season?
the AM Vantage. Oliver
Oh,
Brooks.
wow.
No improvement in 50th. All right, well, that's the grid. Let me take a look here at the results. P1 through 15, you can see on the board. They are up there in lights. Congratulations to all those drivers. P16 is Eric Koonsman. P17 is John Javecki. Aiden Hertz in 18. Brandon Burns 19. Joshua D 20. Justin Schlock 21. Ben Laughter 22. Marshall Scary 23. Alex Zier 24. Mark Foley 25. Rodrigo Theory 26. Richard Calais 27. Craig Reese 28. Charles Whedon 29. Andrew Frank 30. Scott Weber 31. Forrest Holland 32. Craig Carroll on 33, Christopher Daniel 34, Matt Benson 35, Connor Greer 36, Tyler Kern 37, Felipe B. Nunez 38, Tom Smith 39, Elliot Burton 40, Ryan Chandler 41, Brandon Langlands 42, Kyle Strauss 43, Regan Chandler 44, Todd Buellmore 45, Matthew Zuckerman in 46, Lee Winters 47, Teo Nolasco in 48, Angel Bonello Soto in 49, Oliver Brooks 50, Steve McAllister 51, Cecil Booker in 52, Daryl Carrington in 53, Chris Version in 54, John Balone in 55, Mark Sherman 56, Liam Leckie 57, Marcello Machado 58, and Kyle Poffenberger in 59. The last three drivers didn't set qualifying time, so we may or may not see them out there on the track. And you know what? This is just the greatest. Let's do like a blimp. Those talk about sponsorships there, Dylan. Just right in the
Yeah.
way of actual. Yeah, let's put a line of sponsors where our camera is looking at the back end of a sponsor.
But you know what's funny is that as
Wonderful.
far as sponsorship goes, apparently this is the 60th year that Daytona has been running the 24-hour race, and we are matching that up with our season this week, running a 45-minute race. Obviously, also we are running it at a 8x speed, so we will see some nighttime racing, some morning racing, and maybe some daytime racing as the sun rises. But yeah, 60 years of running this road course in this configuration, and it is such a fun track. It's so competitive. You're always in it if you're within the draft. If you can run that infield pretty quick, you can catch up to somebody and maybe have a chance. And obviously, there's going to be some dangerous spots, as in turn one. There's a there's always a run that you're going to get out of the first horseshoe around the kink and have a chance to send it down the inside of the second horseshoe, and then on the Daytona, you're trying to get a great run. Man, we're going to see some great racing today. These guys are well practiced. There is a huge difference in some of the speed of these cars, some of the talent that some of these guys have in their specific makes and models. I'm ready to watch this. I chose not to race today because I wanted to watch the racing, and I'm happy to be here in the booth with you, Jason.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. Paige Heinz is leading for the pros. Daniel Haynes, Pro-Am, in second. Travis Deegan is the rookie in eighth, the leader of the rookies. Craig Reese is in P28 in the overall, but first in class for the AM class. So strong battles in the for that group, as all the AMs are kind of next to each other. P28, 30, 31, 32, 33. So got one Pro-Am kind of giving them a buffer, but not much of a buffer for Craig Reese there. It's going to be way more competitive for the pros here. As Jeff Koffold is in third, Austin McGill in fourth, Peter Flanner in fifth. That's going to be the scary part. I want to see it 6 wide in turn one. Yeah.
I think once you get past the I don't know, the 5th or 6th row. I don't think some of these guys will have a choice with the concertina and the
Oh,
different
look
amount
at
of braking.
what are they doing back there in the back? They're checking up like crazy.
Yep. Here we go into turn 1. The race has begun.
Austin McGill already pulling right next ahead alongside Daniel Haynes into turn 1, and already a spin. And I think that's Chris
Got some
Lambert, who's
space.
just off and
That's
rough.
going to cause some really bad issues in the next 40 cars.
What is this, a race, right? All right, we're just going to stay on TV2. Austin McGill now in second as Braden Daniels gained 1 spot there. And further back, we got some battles. Chris Chitterling and Connor Burns. And Chris Chitterling is fine, but
boy.
Connor Burns is not.
Watch
And
Brixton. There we go.
he let them all by.
I think luckily he tucked in that gap that was caused by the first spin at turn 1. It was
Yeah.
opened up, and that could have been way worse.
Marshall Scary trying to make a move here on Aiden Hertz on the outside. Look at that. 11 positions for Mark Foley and Rodrigo Theory. I mean, talk about chaos into turn 1. That's chaos granted for them.
Chaos can create opportunity, and for very good drivers who know really well how to manage space, both Mark Foley and Rodrigo are very good at that. They usually finish well because of that skill that they have.
Chris Lambeth already showing that the spin's not going to hurt him. He's now down only 5 places from where he started this race, and Aiden Hertz trying to make a move, but I think actually he did make the move. Aiden Hertz is behind, and Marshall Scar is ahead.
Yeah, he threw the move for Marshall on the entry to the NASCAR track, but Marshall had the better run.
Oh, Rich
I'm
Calais is already
actually
out.
very surprised that Chris only dropped 5 positions. That's not bad. It's a pretty good recovery.
Especially when you're sideways into turn 1. Oh, there is.
There goes Jim.
There you go. Down the order he goes. Austin McGill had a little bit of a spin here.
Oh, he's from the
Take a
front.
look.
That's a tough rejoin. Oh,
And it was all on his own.
let's see how that rejoin goes. Oh, not too bad.
I need to change this real quick. Wasn't really paying attention, but ooh.
Travis Deegan running in 6th place right now. He is unbelievably fast in that Mustang. He's going to have to overcome basically a difference in speed of a car. He's got a bunch of Porsches out in front of him, but it'll be interesting to see how he deals using that Mustang power in the draft.
Yeah, and Prashant Jayaraman, he was also involved in that turn 1 incident. I think he was actually hit from the rear. I'd have to take a look at that later, but he's down 12, and Chris is only down his 5. We got Scott Weber up 8, Matt Benson up, and then Austin McGill is exiotoed. Austin McGill is out of this race.
That's unfortunate. Austin is usually very quick.
There.
Obviously, when he is up front with that amount of competition,
I think
if
he
you
disconnected.
get spun off the track here, it's
I don't think he parked it. I think he actually literally disconnected because he was there 1 second and then he was just completely blipped gone the next. Prashant Jayaraman getting past Scott Weber and moving up. Now only down 10 spots from where he started. Jackson Schlock coming out onto track. Oliver Brooks side by side with John Balone. Or nope, that was Teo Nolasco.
very well behaved there. You know, the inside line on turn 1 is one of the easier ones to defend, but you can maybe get a little bit of a run on that outside line. So we might see some moves later on as this spreads out. You get really strong runs on that oval section.
Oh.
Right now, you're just kind of taking space where it comes to you in these early laps. And as it kind of shakes out and everybody kind of figures out what their speed is, then we'll start seeing some, skill level racing. But
Oh,
You
oh,
see a dive in there right
yeah.
onto the NASCAR.
Oh
Oh
no,
my
that's
gosh.
Daryl Carrington getting the little shove
Who
right
was that
there.
kind of threw
Ben
that in? I think it was a car
Laughter.
ahead of him.
Yeah, Ben
Yeah,
Laughter is
Ben.
one down
Ben kind of
20.
sent it a little bit late there. But
Yeah,
we'll see how that pans out when we review that one.
definitely.
Maybe he was there and maybe it was a turn in, but
Steve McAllister is
that's
side by
rough.
side with Ben Laughter, and I think he'll go down to Ben there now, down only 19.
Oh, nice little Earnhardt
And
livery for the Daytona with
yeah,
Matthew
Matthew,
Linkerman.
that's a great one. It's a really great
Sharp looking
livery.
car there, Matthew.
Austin McGill had a lone tire meeting, had a meeting with a lone tire barrier, so that's his excuse for what's going on. Matt Benson, up 10.
Matt can be very quick. He's very skilled in that Mustang. I think we'll see that number 10 number next to his car climb and climb.
Well, it's just, I think there's it showed him drop down the order, but it seems fine on track here, so not sure what that's about.
Who's that?
That was Matt Benson. He showed him dropping down the order, but he seemed
I
fine.
saw
Look
plus
at this.
10 next to his number.
Still up 10, which is weird.
Yeah.
Charles Whedon and Prashant Jayaraman. Charles on the inside.
I think this might be let's stick with this because you'll see the difference in the Porsche and the Mustang as we go into the bus stop here. Prashant looks like he's going to kind of tuck in, maybe try to get the draft. We'll see if he throws a move into the bus stop. But Charles will probably show us how much better this car is. And here's the difference maker with the Porsche this week. They can take this bus stop and these curbs like it's cereal for breakfast. As you can see, he took that last exit one, no problem, planted, and that's the difference maker. And we're going to see the Porsches do really well during the course of this race because they are so stable with taking that last little bit of curbing.
Yep. And speaking of Porsches, we have Chris Stewart and a sea of Porsche behind him. Nick Mazza, Rick Wishon, all following in suit. 7, 8, and 9, and then Travis Deegan just ahead of him. He's only up 2. He hasn't gained anything since the opening laps, but Travis Deegan, crucially, hasn't lost anything since he's
One of these things is not like the other with the top 10. Actually, 2 of these things. You got Travis Deegan running the Mustang, and I believe Daniel Haynes is still doing pretty well in that Lamborghini, and everybody else in that top 10 is. It's a Porsche spec series this week.
I mean, in the top 10,
Not
you
to
have 2.
discredit any of their skill, but
Yeah.
that thing is just wicked fast, and it was super fun to run.
You get 2 Lamborghini Huracans on the top 10. Yeah, and that Mustang, and then yeah, you're right. It's all Porsche after that. Talk about sweats. Let's see where they're at. Gage Hines is up 3.3 seconds
Flying.
on Jeff Koffold, who's in second, with Braden Daniels just following suit. What happened at the start? I guess we got a good enough advantage here on lap 5:26. We could take a look here at the start. Turn 1 parking lot. Let's. I don't even know who to go to first. I'm seeing so many red across the board.
I would like to see what happened with Prashant and Chris again at turn 1. And then
we'll
everything after that is
back.
probably going to get stacked.
I think these are just the people that are slowing down, so we'll move. I think it's just a parking lot for this stuff, but it's Christopher Daniel is nope, that's not it. Scott Wepper, Felipe Nunez. It'll get there. It's going to show the first one.
I would go further forward.
Eric,
I think this is all concertina.
Yeah.
People reacting to that event right there. Prashant and Chris get together.
And Chris. That was the first.
And everybody has to slow down while Chris slows across. Oh, and there's a stoppage right there on the outside line.
Well, that's actually Jacob Simmons.
Corner,
that was Jacob Simmons and Prashant, and not Chris. Chris goes by. Oh, no, Chris stops. Or no, one of the others. I think maybe.
To the Chris or Eric?
Jacob was the one that was parked behind Chris, giving him ample time, stopping the group, and then that's kind of what happened there. Let's take a
Let's see if we
blimp
can go. Let's go on
chopper.
board with.
One of these drivers here.
On board with Chris.
All right, here we go. It was Chris.
They're side by side.
Oh, he hits another driver
just
too.
Misjudges the brake point of the person ahead of him. It's
And then,
Prashant.
yeah.
And Jacob just gets stopped up into it.
Well, he hit a car ahead of him slightly, not
Yep.
Prashant. And then Prashant is kind of,
He just gets kind of ping ponged onto it.
yeah. And then further back, I think none of this is actually wreckages anymore. But Chris, that's when we get Chris back again, and then
Yep.
kind of some other drivers.
Everybody
here.
else is just trying to get through that mess. I mean, you
Yeah.
got, at that point, you have about 45 cars that are trying to get to a 2-lane turn 1.
Jackson Sherlock gets tapped from behind. That was Connor Burns when he lost control. We saw that one pretty much live, but he did tag one driver. That's,
Hold those brakes. Sometimes you're holding the brakes and it doesn't matter in these cars lately with this tire model.
yeah.
So we'll have to take a look at that one, but
Jacob Simmons went
especially
with
if
a
you're in
spin.
the grass.
Austin McGill with his own self-inflicted there as well. Ryan Chandler losing into exit turn 1. That's unfortunate. Held brakes. Let people by.
Very nice.
Daryl Carrington. I think this is, yeah. We'll take a look at this again, but with a chopper view so everyone can kind of
Yeah.
clearly see. I mean,
Enough that quite got the overlap ready for that move. We'll have to take a look at that one later.
yeah. So far after that, it's all been clean, folks. There is no recorded incidents after lap. That was lap 3. Everyone else has been pretty solid. Christopher Daniel just overtaking Craig Reese on the backstretch. Now up 10. Always nice to see where people are. Where's Chris Lambeth, you might add? He's only down 4, so he gained another spot, and he's catching Rodrigo Theory 7/10. So not a total. Hey, his teammate helped him out in that, creating a parking lot scenario. So P15.
Yeah, I
for
don't
him.
think there's much you can do there. You don't know when somebody's gonna make that braking point, turn 1, and it's just kind of finding the space you can get into and hoping everybody kind of just pushes through, and that's tough. It's not like he was throwing a move, but you bonk somebody ahead of you, who knows where you're gonna end up.
Look at that. You have Jeff leading this little train, and it goes all the way back to P10. That's P2 to P10, and you can see just at the back end, that's Chris Chitterling in the Lambo, and they are all still pretty much together. This is pretty impressive.
You know, at this point, with this kind of train, I mean, obviously Gage is just flying up ahead. But you have this kind of train, if you're 3rd or 4th or 2nd, you know, do you really want to fight at this point, or do you want to try to save fuel? And who can save fuel the best while you're in this draft and maybe get it on the pit entrance? Because if you start passing each other, that's going to make it tough to be even close to Gage, who right now doesn't have anybody to follow. Maybe he's pushing. We'll see what happens in the pit cycle, but man, he is absolutely flying in the lead. And the rest of everybody else has to brace it out for the top 10. See where they're going to end up.
Mm-hmm. And as we were looking at that group, Chris Lambeth was able to get past Brandon Burns.
I think Chris is going to be very strong here.
I think he
Porsche.
might. Maybe he's seeing red a little bit. You know, you don't like getting tapped out on like a turn 1 incident. But I mean, yeah,
We'll see. I know
Maybe
him
he's
and
not.
Rodrigo have a good history of racing together. Maybe there's a little bit of a, hey, I'm going to push you forward so we can close this gap up ahead. Looking at the gap between them. You know, you want to try to get within that 2nd.
Oh.
Maybe they can catch up to Mark.
Well, he's
Rodrigo's a
fighting
little
him.
deep there. Hey, Chris has got some good grip. Let's see what happens side by side through the kink.
Wow.
Rodrigo gives it up. And great move by Chris by getting that exit. let's see if they can catch up to Mark. Try to get that draft. See if
And
they can make some more moves going forward.
Aiden Hurts getting by on Brandon Burns as well through that section. Is turn 5.
We have Connor racing with us today too. We got a father and son pair with Brandon and Connor Burns.
Yeah, we do. He's further back somewhere. No, he made it 1 lap. Made it 1 lap.
Ah, I was about to say, normally we see the Burnses running together. I've had to deal with them the last few weeks. The Burns family have been giving me headaches.
Yeah.
They're very quick and they're very good. And it's nice when you can split them up a little bit. That's a tough little bit right there. It's really easy to do. Sometimes you start going into these horseshoes after that turn 1. It's a heavy braking zone, but it's a heavy trail braking zone. And then you go in that horseshoe and you try to trail brake as much as you can. And a lot of these guys are probably running a little bit more of a rearward brake bias. So the braking happens on the rear tires and those back tires get hot. They get roasted up like a dark coffee, like a Sumatran blend. And they just want to go. And there's nothing you can do once that starts happening.
And we have Kyle Strauss about to battle out here with Angel Manel Soto. Angel in the Mercedes and keeping it to the inside. Tyler Kern leading these two. Oof. Goes kind of deep. And look at that. Brendan Laughter gets on by on Kyle Strauss. Tom Smith
Ben
also trying to make
Laughter,
a
one
move.
of our newer racers. Glad to have him. Our league has been growing at a very quick pace. It's very full field with some new folks that have been joining us. Ben's one of the quicker ones. Glad to have him. And ooh, we got a good side by side there. Jacob around the outside. Who's going to get the grip? Jacob's got a good run here. We're going to go down to the kink. Jacob's got the inside line, the advantage, and oh no, we're at the NASCAR turn. But yeah, you want to be inside there. Jacob does a good job getting a good run. So good defense there.
Ooh, I think Angel Manel Soto has a slowdown because he just lifted heavily. But Brandon Langlands in the Mystery Machine, he's up 8. He got an overtake done on the Regan Chandler. A little bit further back in the infield.
Oh, there we go. It looked a little bit closer going side by side in there.
Chris Virgin.
Nice move.
We're taking Matthew
Chris?
Zuckerman. Yep. And
Totally.
Prashant.
Chris is just totally disrespecting that Dale Earnhardt livery, just throwing a move like that into the bus stop.
Not making the move.
Nice move on the brakes by Prashant.
To be fair, Prashant and Marshall Scary have been trading spots. I know that Marshall was ahead of him at one point. Now he regains the lead there over him, so these two have been battling it out for some time.
Be interested to see. You didn't see too many different makes in the Daytona 24. So seeing without the Bop, seeing the Mustangs, the Ferraris, the Aston Martins joining the track, seeing how those match up against one another. It'd be fascinating to watch some of these battles as they overcome each other.
Yeah, I wonder how much is the penalty points for changing cars for just the one race?
I would have to look, but I
think
do
it's
believe
like 10. I thought it was like
pretty...
such a negligible amount of points.
No, that got changed, I think last season to a significant penalty. I think you get about half the points that you would normally get during a race.
Oh, that's
however,
rough.
Winning feels very good. So if you're not in a points race and you just want to win a race in a very competitive, if not the most competitive league in iRacing when it comes to GT3 racing, I would take a points and penalty, or a penalty and points to get a win in this league. If you've captured a win in this league, you've done pretty damn well.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I can say damn. I've watched your streams before, Jason. You've said worse.
Yeah, that's true. I was gonna say here is look at this. This Nick Mazza has just joined this grouping, and then Chris Lambeth now level where he's at. He did pass Mark Foley through the bus stop, and Daniel Haynes is also down 8 positions. Not sure what happened with
Yeah.
him. And now
Big gap
Nick,
in front of him too.
yeah, massive
That's a
gap.
great recovery by Chris.
Massive recovery for him, but Nick Mazza, I'm not sure what happened with him, but somehow Mark will gain 12 spots this pit stop. I mean, it's all eyes on Chris Lambeth for now getting right back there. He's got Daniel
What's
Haynes
that
ahead
gap
of him.
ahead of Daniel? It's a significant one.
4.5 seconds. Let's take a
Yeah.
look here at Daniel Haynes. Ooh,
Oh,
Nick Mazza and Daniel Haynes. That was both of them. Let's take a chopper view of that. A little wide. Ooh. Well, just another quick view.
looks like he
Kinda.
got shoved out a little bit wide by a little battle with maybe Peter there.
Yeah.
And then you could have gone side by side through that S following turn 1, but man, those curbs have made that very narrow. It's made the racing
Oh.
really rough. Looks like they just ran out of space.
So that wasn't even Nick Mazza. Nick Mazza was collected in that incident.
Let's
After
go
he,
back to turn 1 entry with him and Peter. Go to Peter and rewind that to that turn 1 entry.
all right, let's take a further back. Peter Flanner here.
Peter throws it on the inside, holds it there.
Oh, he pushed him
Just
a little wide.
nudge, and that puts him side by side with Mazza.
Yep.
And there's just not room. That's just rough. It's a good move by Peter. It's just, it put him in a bad spot when Mazza got next to him trying to go through those S's following turn 1.
Just made a bit shaky ground here as well. Now you have a huge group that was pretty close, but with the draft kind of going away for some of these, this train has departed. Now you have 3 together, 3 up there. So Brandon Burns is up 6. He's got a 1.7 second gap here. Eric Kunzman throwing a move.
Going up the inside into the bus stop. Looks like Brandon's going to let that happen. You know, at this point, you have to make a decision, and you have to look at the gap ahead of you and say, hey, are we going to work together, or are we going to help each other push to close this gap in case those guys ahead of us start fighting? And you can say the same about the train just ahead of them, saying, hey, if I'm in the front, and yes, you're going to be faster than me with that draft, give me a little bump. Let's see if we can catch these guys instead of, I mean, you can go back and forth with that draft, and that gap will get bigger and bigger, and you're going to see a move here by Prashant. Shows an interest. He sends it on the brakes, gets it done. Brandon lets it happen. And now there's going to be a little gap, and we're going to see Eric, once they get into that draft situation, he's going to be the one that's going to be susceptible to that next move.
We
have our
Kyle
first pit
Strauss.
stop of the race.
Not the first. Rick Wishon went in, and so has Nick Mazza, also into the pits. But Nick Mazza
Were those scheduled, or was that from damage, I wonder?
could be either or, but on lap 14 of 27, it might just be that this is the case. Chris Stewart was the one that was involved with the. That's who was the one that was made contact with Daniel Haynes.
Not Nick. Yeah.
Nick Mazza was on the receiving end of that because that other driver was still not fully in control of his car because of the wreck, and he was the one that got clipped because shake and bake. And I make these mistakes all the time because they're running the same liveries. But yeah, Chris Stewart was he was doing fairly well, but he did go out to pit after lap 12, so he might have just had damage from that.
Maybe.
But he had such
that might be
minimal
showing his loss in position.
His seemed like such a minimal contact scenario, so.
Well, you never know if you took a little damage from a minimal contact, you take that first pit stop at the beginning of the pit window and see what you can do to damage control. You know, fuel saving stops being an option at that point. Obviously, in these 45-minute sprint races, fuel saving becomes a huge tool. And sometimes you just got to fix that damage.
Well,
And,
we're getting a lot of
see what
people
you can
in the
do.
pits now, so it looks like even people like Aiden Hertz is on going in. Charles Whedon
A little move
strong
around the outside
defense.
by Elliott. Not going to happen there. But Charles covers that off pretty well.
Seems impressive with the 25 gain. He's still up 24 technically before we went through the pits where some overtakes occurred, but I mean 24 on track, or sorry 21 technically if we ignore the 25 part there. And Elliot Burton's having a great race.
Yeah, Elliott's a very
Oh
consistently fast person. He's throwing a move there in that second.
God, I missed it. Well, let's just take a look right back at that.
What a last second. Good move on the brakes. Makes it happen. Hits the apex.
And
No worries about running into him. Then he
about
ruins it on the
live.
entry to Daytona. Oh,
So
that's rough.
quick replay, and yeah.
Just a little heavy on the throttle there coming out of there. It's easy to do. There's a little bit of a crest on the exit there. And if you catch it on the outside of that crest and you're trying to get heavy throttle to make a move done, very easy to do.
Rough.
Great move to tough luck. Right then and there.
Now, they're out on lap 16 for Chris Daniel, Aiden Hertz, Prashant, Nick Mazepin on lap 12, so it looks like the undercut might be kind of viable.
You know, I don't know. We'll see how how viable that is. It's a really good track to fuel save at because there's big long straights and a heavy braking zone into turn one. You can lift and coast and not lose too much time. There's a big long straight
Ooh.
full throttle section going into the bus stop.
Daniel
where you
Haynes
can
is
lift
still in the
for a long
pits.
time.
Jeff gets back out. Peter's back out. Braden's back out. Braden gets jumped by Peter there. Chris Stewart is popping through. He's already pit. Can he take anything back here? He gets Braden Daniels at least. Now down where he started. And Travis Deegan now only up one. Rick Rishon out. John Javecki out. Daniel Haynes is the only one that's really feeling this pit. Back in P10.
He had fallen back a little bit earlier on in the race, that Lamborghini. Chris still pushing forward.
Well, if he didn't make the contact with Peter, I think he would be P5.
Who knows what would have happened,
Yeah.
but he's definitely had a great recovery just outside the top 10.
Oh, with Chris
See if some
Lambic,
of these guys, see if some of these guys ahead of him get a little bit racy and make a mistake, and he's right there in that top 10, maybe with a sniff of a chance at the Pro-Am win.
Oh. Rodrigo
A couple
Fury
guys
moving
going
through.
to the grass doing a little lawn mowing there.
That's John Balone and Josh D, I think. No, that wasn't Joshua D. Who was that? That was Charles Whedon and John Balone. Jacob Simmons. Still in a recovery race here. Connor Greer just ahead of him. New driver to the league, by the way. I think this is his first
Connor
race.
to the league. Glad to have you. Still got a 7-second lead between Gage Hams and Jeff Koffold. Gage is still just running away with that pace that he's got up front. Chitterling, Chris Chitterling looking to go into the pit. Looks like he might have saved an extra lap. We'll see how that handles on his exit here on the pit. Was the fuel save the option to go with for Chitterling? Not sure where he was before the pits, but it'll be interesting to see how he comes out.
He's out in 7th.
Oh, I'm looking at the top left. Still showing him 15 seconds.
Weird.
Still interesting to see how that pans out. Rick Wishin just behind him. Just barely behind him. Got the draft going. We'll see how he works with him. I had a pretty good little battle with Rick Wishin a couple weeks ago. Great guy to race with. Very fair. We had a last corner moment at Sebring, and it was a lot of fun. So glad to have him part of the league with good racing.
Ah, no.
Always welcome that.
Al Strauss, a little bit of a spin there. And things are kind of opening up a little bit, but the one I was kind of thinking about is, do you see Brandon Burns is in the pits? Okay. Take a look at what happened for him. Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh.
And that tire wall will eat you up. That's a rough one going into that bus stop. Easy to do, trying to trail brake as much as you can. Late lift.
Yeah.
Just got it on the rear braking. Those rear tires just kind of spun up on them. Locked up just a little bit too much.
Bummer.
Trying to get that rotation and just sent him right into that tire wall. Not much you can do.
Definitely a bummer.
Very tight race for second place right now. You got Jeff Kaufhold leading. The second pack behind Gage's unbelievable speed. Peter's not far behind, tucked into that draft. And then you have Chris Stewart just waiting for the pickings.
Little spin from Matt Benson. Unfortunate.
Those tires locked up, trying to trail brake that corner a little bit. Really easy to do here at this track, especially in the nighttime cool temperatures. Track can speed up, but it can also cool down.
I think Nick just lifted.
Oh yeah, for sure. He might be biding his time, see if they can catch up to Chris up ahead. Like I said, this is where you see, sometimes you'll see people kind of working together, like, hey, let's close this gap. Maybe we can both get this position. If I give you a little nudge. And I think that's what Nick's doing right here. They start fighting too much, they won't have a chance to catch Chris. But man, if he can put a little bump here, probably around the tri-oval, and we see this on Wednesday nights. See a little bump driving, but it looks like he's going around the outside. Mark's defending the inside, side by side into turn one. Mark's gonna put it late on the brakes, pin it to that apex. And Nick just cannot handle that on the outside. Who knows? Could have been a little bit of marbles on the outside of that track. Could have been a low grip or just a little heavy on the brakes in that portion.
It's an unfortunate. And he's now down 10. Elliot Burton.
Oh. We have a reactive spin.
No.
Oh. Just something similar.
And Nick went so far back in that tire barrier, he lost his wing.
Looks like Elliot tried to get off that racing line using the reverse gear there. Not an easy spot to try to spin it around or try to get across the racing line. So probably not a bad decision. Looks like he didn't get hit by anybody. Man, what a rough situation to happen in turn one. Wonder if we'll see that happen a little bit more on that outside line. People trying to push it a little bit hard.
Another retirement. Nick Mazza has definitely retired after that incident. It's unfortunate. You hate to see it.
Pretty big gap up ahead of Rick and Chris here. We'll see if Rick decides to throw a move and see if he wants to lead it from the front or just bide his time to a later lap. Decision will be made pretty soon now. Goes around outside, probably does a lift, gives a little space. Wants to see what Chris is going to do in that brake zone. Probably a smart choice. We still have about 7 laps to go.
Now we'll just go with who's still out there. We have 8 retirements so far. John Balone, last of the drivers here at 48.
Big little bump on the exit of that turn.
Yeah. Joshua D down 26 and 46 in 46. Unfortunate for him. Must have had some maybe turn 1 could have been there. Lee Winters in 45, Nick Mazza down in 44, but probably going to go down a couple as these guys take their laps here. Mark Sherman in 43, Steve McAllister 42, Daryl Carrington in 41. 12 positions gained. All things considered, he did get that bump into, what was that, turn 6, going on to the NASCAR infield, or oval. Theo Nolasco in 40, Oliver Burks 39, Forrest Holland and Oliver Burks still together, 38. And then you got Todd Gilmore and Chris Virgin, 37 and 36. Matthew Zuckerman, 35. Tom Smith, 34. He's got a little bit of a gap here. It's 1.6 behind him, so he's got to together. Kyle Strauss in 33. Felipe B. Nunez, 32. We've seen his livery out there on track, just not so much action at the moment. Rich Calais, welcome to the league. This guy's new. This is the second CRC guy we've seen with this livery, but must be another league.
Hey,
or a team. You know, a team. Yeah.
Car.
It looks pretty good. Brandon Langland's in 30 with the Mystery Machine. Elliot Burton about to make a move here on Craig Carroll for 28. Now Craig Carroll's 29. May stick this way. Who knows? Craig Carroll.
Yeah, Elliot's got that inside line. I think Craig is going to just let that happen going into
Yeah.
next bit of cornering.
Think so. Regan Chandler
follow
just ahead.
Elliott through here. Elliott throws a move on Regan.
And
there
it looks like it's going to happen.
On the brakes.
28 for Regan Chandler. Now Elliot Burton now
holds it.
Keeping it. Where is the other Chandler? Is the other Chandler in? Ryan Chandler is out of this race. He's in 51st. They are, I should say. Tyler Kern up into 26. Matt Benson, 25. Connor Greer, 24. And Jacob Simmons. All things considered, 9 positions to recover after all this. It's not so bad. 23 for him. Andrew Franken.
Jacob's going to be very happy with that one.
I mean, you get what you can get out of this. I mean, that's as good as it gets there. Andrew Franken to 22nd. Charles Reed in 21st. Christopher Daniel 20th. Craig Reese 19. Rodrigo Theory 18. Scott Weber 17. Marshall Scari just ahead in 16. Eric Koonsman further ahead by 2.9 seconds in 15.
Told Eric I wanted a top 10 finish out of him before this started.
Yeah, top 15.
5 more to go.
It could be there. Prashant Jayaraman in 14. Aiden Hertz in 13. Mark Foley in 12th. Chris Lameth in 11th. John Javecki in 10. Daniel Haynes is now in 9, so he's gained 1 spot. He's got Rick Rishon just ahead of him in 8th. Then you got Chris Chitterling with a good gap. Travis Deegan ahead of them. And is he making the move now? Woo! And he does.
Very late on the brakes. Little nudge, little
contact.
Using the elbows.
What can John Chavecki do? Not able to make the move there. And then Braden
John
Daniels.
Might just tuck behind there.
I think he will. Braden Daniels in 5th with Chris Stewart now fighting Peter Flanner for 3rd.
I think this fight, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, will be the fight for the end of the race. These guys are all poised with a good draft. You know, you got to think if you're Jeff Koffold sitting in 2nd place, nobody in front of you to draft from. Peter's just kind of biding his time. And Chris might be waiting to see what happens with the 2 in front of him. And then you got Gage out front. He's nonplussed about what's going on. He's got the pace in the bag. He's just got to keep it together, keep on running. But
too much praise is too much. Okay, he's right there. It could have been I'm gonna spin right now.
I've been pretty good about no curses yet.
Well, they're separated by not much. 2/10, 3/10. These guys are gonna go battle to the end. There's some other battles happening out there on track as well. Some people are just in a race of their own, just trying to get some consistency.
We got Steve McAllister kind of throwing a a wrench in the plans of these guys racing for second. We'll see how well he can get out of the way. He's gonna take his corner, gets a little bump from second place. Oh, we are all gonna be bunched up.
Oh,
Oh, and there goes
Peter!
Peter.
No.
Gets caught on the front right wheel of Chris Stewart and gets sent to the grass.
Let's take
That
another
is
look
super
here.
unfortunate.
Yeah, they make
All starts
contact.
from that little bump from the blue flag.
Ah,
And I wonder how much he got pulled down. Maybe a little side draft, maybe just trying to keep him narrow.
is it left? Left rear. Or is it right? Yeah, no. I think there's, yep, they're connected. I think that's
Might be a
netcode.
little bit of a, if you go to Chris Stewart there, I think he might have caught a little bit of that apron.
Oh, yeah.
No, it just kind of pushed him up. I don't know. We'll have to take a look at that, but that's
Yeah, post
unfortunate.
race, Peter's out of this race as well. That is it. Chris Stewart now has dropped down into fifth. It's Travis Deegan, the race leader for the rookies. It's now in fourth in the overall. Braden Daniels in the pro-ams is third in
What a
in
great finish
overall.
for Braden.
Yeah,
You're taking a podium,
first in
a
class.
Pro-Am win. That shows how competitive that class can be.
I mean, you got Chris Stewart in fifth, Daniel Haynes in sixth, Chris Lambeth in ninth. That's 4 pro-ams. And you got 4 pros also in the top 10. 2 rookies, Rick Ruishon and Travis Deegan. H. Heinz is leading the pros. And then you got Scott Webber. Sorry. He's the AM class. Sorry, that's just... I've heard it said that way before. But Scott Webber in the AM class, he's almost in the top 15. He's 16th. He's got
Hey,
Mark Muscari just ahead.
16th place for an AM class. That is a very respectable position to finish. As well, he's in the Ford Mustang. So it's not like he had the Meta car.
Oh,
He's racing his heart out. So very good job by him. So you'll see Braden Daniels here following Jeff Kaufold. Is he gonna have a chance to get second place here? This is kind of where you want to be. If you can get a good exit on all these corners, have that draft coming out of the bus stop. White flag. I think we'll see a move for second place for sure. Speaking of moves, we've got Rick Wishon.
Yeah, Wishon.
Sending it on the inside of John Javecki. Gets it done.
Just keeping it ahead at the moment.
Very good move. Just a little bit later on the... Oh my goodness. We got Steve McAllister. Holy moly.
Oh no.
Suddenly Steve. Oh.
Chris Chitterling and I think that was Chris Lambeth made contact. Oh, that was Eric Koonsman. No. That wasn't him.
Must have been Chris. I think they were... Is Chris out too? Oh.
Oh yeah, and he's over on the
go
other
back
side.
a little bit further. Let's see what happened there.
Yeah. They get further back.
So, Chitterling's gonna have a great run from the draft here. Makes
He's
a move
braking.
to the inside right as Chris is making the same narrow
He was
entry.
braking. Like Chris immediately started braking and then he swept and I don't think he had the room.
It almost looked like Chitterling might have tried to do a late break there and Chris was trying to just keep it narrow.
Yeah.
It's so tough to judge in that turn one because there's about 200 different ways you can take turn one there. And you kind of have to guess on what that guy ahead is you going to do if you're going to make a move when you're that close.
Yeah, and unfortunately...
That's super unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just, I think he legitimately, like you can see when Chris was putting, his brake lights go on, and that's when the shift to make the overtake was happening, and it just wasn't going to happen with that, yeah, unfortunate.
I think this is going to be a great race to the end. Braden's got good pace. Earlier on when they had their little kerfuffle
Mm-hmm.
and from the blue flag car, Braden turned out a 144.0 on that lap. So he's got speed. He's got the ability. Can he get a run out of this corner? And can he get a run out of the bus stop? And that'll determine whether or not the Pro-Am winner is second place overall. Right now,
Okay.
nobody's got anything to compare to this guy. Gage Ham's level of his own. Just rocking and rolling in that Porsche.
And we will definitely keep on board with this fight, but we still have to see what happens right across the line, almost across the line shortly. We'll see. We're almost there.
So
But
Gage is
Gage
taking the
Hines,
final lap, right?
yep,
This
this
is
is
it.
it.
This is checkers.
He is celebrating already.
Let's go and see what's happening with Jeff Koppel.
Oh, P1 goes to Gage Hines for the pros, and then Jeff now
Braden get the run out of the bus stop. Is he going to take it to the line?
they
We're
are
going
going
to
to take it to
see
the line.
a huge difference in speed. Braden on the outside is going to
Get
get
it.
second place over Jeff.
P2 over in the Jeff
What a
into
measured
P2.
race there.
Travis Deegan P3, Chris Stewart P4. That was amazing right there. Daniel Haynes 6, Rick Wishon 7, John Javecki 8, Mark Foley, and Aiden
This is going to be
Hertz
another
here.
run here. I think it was just a little too late.
Yeah, it goes to Mark Foley for 9th, Aiden
there.
Hertz on 10, Prashant Jairoman at 11, Eric Kunzman 12, Marshall Scar 13, Scott Weber 14, Christopher Daniel 15, Rodrigo Theory 16, Craig Reese 17, Charles Whedon 18, Andrew Frank 19, Jacob Simmons 20, Connor Greer not across the line just yet, but 21 for him. Matt Benson 22. Tyler Kern. Oh, nope. Connor Greer. Oh, they were across the line. Matt Benson 22. Rich Calais in 23. Tyler Kern 24. Regan Chandler 25. Brandon Langlands 26. Craig Carroll 27. Kyle Strauss 28. Felipe B. Nunez 29. Tom Smith 30. Matthew Zuckerman 31. Oh, they actually haven't crossed the line. There they go. Forrest Holland. And actually Todd Buellmore.
Race to the line here.
Oh, I think it was Oliver Brooks there. I think Oliver Brooks gets it. So Forrest Holland 32, Oliver Brooks 33, Todd Buellmore 34, just across the line. Theo Nolasco in 35, Chris Virgin 36, Daniel Carrington 37, Mark Sherman 40, Chris Lambert 40. Oh, we got a 37, 38. Yeah, we got a couple black flags. So anything after 438 is not actually accurate. I can't even show you that until it goes over here. That's well, let me take a look here and see if the results will show it better than what I'm guessing at the moment. Because it doesn't show. Okay, so Chris Lambeth is 38, Chris Chidling 39, Mark Sherman 40, Steve McAllister 41, Lee Winters 42, Peter Flander 43, Joshua D 44, Elliot Burton 45, John Balone 46, Nick Mazza 47, Brandon Burns 48, Ben Laughter 49, Angel Bonello Soto 50, Ryan Chandler 51, Jackson Schlock 52, Alex Zier 53, Austin McGill 54, Connor Burns 55, Cecil Booker 56, Liam Leckie 57, Marcelo Machado 58, and Kyle Poffenberger 59. The last three didn't show up for this one, but there you go. Let's start with our first interview here. Congratulations to Gage Hines. I mean, what a spectacular result. I mean, finishing what 10 seconds ahead.
Yeah. Man, I feel like it's kind of cheap because I switched to the Porsche for this track, and the Porsche is just so OP on this track. But yeah, I'll take the win and the points the points removal for switching cars.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, in this field with this BWRL lineup, I think taking a win, no matter what the car, no matter what the BOP is, I think it showed that you had a skill above the rest. A lot of folks ran the Porsche this week. What was your thought process in taking that? Did you run the 24 and just say, man, this thing is too fun to not run?
That is absolutely what happened. After getting our butts kicked over the 24 by every Porsche in the field, I just tried it out after the race. I was like, oh my goodness, why did we not try this?
You know, one of the things I realized when we were running it was that this is a fun GT3 to run. I think they accidentally
Yeah.
made a car make sense, and
Yeah.
you made it make more sense than anybody else in the field. It was incredibly fast, Gage. What
Well,
was
thank
the
you,
most
man.
difficult part of the race? Was it the start? Was it just kind of keeping it
Um,
together, figuring it out?
yeah, I mean, probably the start was a little hectic. We had Valhalla guys 1, 2, 3, and 4, luckily. And so it kind of had a little pressure off me. But the pit stop, I've been blowing my pit stalls during the 24 and the majors like over and over again. So I was just like hit my marks, stop in my pit stall.
Well, you did a great job, Gage. You were a level above the rest of the field, and it was awesome to watch you. When we
Sweet
caught
man.
you on the screen, we didn't get you too much because you're just too far ahead.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Yeah, thanks, Gage, for joining us. Congratulations on the win, and your P4 in the standings. I think with a win like this, will really put you right in the fight for the championship. One more round to go, for the first half championship. So let's see if you can clutch this thing.
Sweet. Thank you, Jason.
Yep. Thanks for joining us. And Braden Daniels, congratulations, Pro Am win. P2 in the overall. You just got Jeff across the line. I mean, I don't know what the 10th difference is on that. I'm sure you're gonna go take a look in the file, the replay file of that. But I mean, fantastic result. That's insane. How did you take that last stride after the bus stop?
I knew I was tailing Jeff there for a while, even in the first half of the race, just using him for the draft to get away from the others. And once I got back up to him, after I think it was Peter and Chris got into each other, I knew I just had to stay on his tail until after that final bus stop, and I'd be able to pull him on the draft.
Wow. Dylan, I'm sure you
Well,
have a question.
Braden, unbelievably so, you finished first in Pro-Am and second overall. This field of BWRL, we talk about it a lot. It's a wide array of skill gaps, but the top is very sharp. How does it feel to get second place? I know Gage was on another level, but the fact that you're running up there, how's that feel, man?
I mean, it's something, but like Gage said, the Porsche is a bit of a cheat code at this track, and I think everybody knows that. But even being able to be within what was I like 7 seconds or something of Gage is just something because he's unbelievably fast. He split apart from the pack in the beginning, and I knew that there was just no catching him. I took where I was and was happy with it.
I wouldn't downplay it too much, Braden. I mean, on the lap that Peter and Jeff had their, or Chris had their incident, you pulled out a 44.0 on that exact same lap. So you were pushing really good, and that's pace that's at the top level. So I look forward to seeing you get out of my class going forward, when you go up to pro with that kind of skill.
Yeah, I think I've been teetering on promotion, I think, and I think with this win, it's probably going to solidify it. I don't think there's going to be any way that I'm not going to push over that 80 PR rank.
As a mediocre pro-am, good riddance to you.
Yeah.
But great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll be happy to leave on a championship win if I can get it.
I
I'll be
mean,
happy to leave.
you're close there. You're in second. Aiden Heinz is in first, but he finished 10th. You finished second. We know overall is going to matter more than class position. He finished fourth in class as well, so not even going to get him some extra points there because he had Chris Stewart and Daniel Haynes in the middle of those two. 4 pro-ams in the top 10, 4 pros in the top 10. You got to count yourself as one of those type of pros that's leading towards more the pro than the slash am part of the identifier there.
Yeah, I think you should celebrate pretty heartily, Braden. A second place with the Pro-Am is going to be huge with that overall finish change in the points. So great job, man. You were super fast
Thanks.
tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels good because the last 2 races have been a little rough. Sebring, I just had a rough race overall, and Red Bull, I had a spin, and it was nice to keep the car facing in the right direction tonight.
Well, it's not an easy track to do that, so good job.
Thanks, you. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks for joining us, Braden, and take care.
You as well.
Thanks, Dylan, for joining me. I appreciate it. That was my co-commentator in the booth with me. Everyone on the stream, thank you for joining us. And we didn't really interact too much with y'all, but you know, we had a great race to watch, and there's a lot of great action on track. And again, thank you everybody for joining me. And Dylan, any lasting remarks?
No, I'll be back next week, but appreciate you having me in the booth, and it was awesome watching this racing.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. And yeah, it was really awesome. Take care, everybody.